Hello and thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of the program. It's Sport Pizza, where we'll give you the absolute best in the ever-exciting world of sports. My name is Brownson Wana, your host, and I must tell you today that the show is well loaded for your viewing pleasure. Now, today on the program, we're looking at, on our road to Qatar, we're looking at Group B, analysis, chances of the teams qualifying, and of course, some top players to look out for. Now, Caf Champions League, you want to say qualifying round, the round that takes you to the group stage, ended last weekend, and it wasn't a good one for most Nigerian representatives. We also have some referee controversy right there. Of course, that's African football, but we'll talk about that, of course, on the show. Now, some top stories. Some big players you're expected to see at the World Cup just may not get it, may just not make it there. Lots of injury worries there. And for boxing fans, Jude, what a way to bounce back. First round knockout. Top stories dishing out to you today. My name is Brownson Wana, but first, let's take a very quick break. We're back with all the actions. Don't go away. The greatest football showpiece lands in Qatar as 32 teams slug it out or become the next world champion.
The World Cup is a platform where gladiators meet for bragging rights.
Now talking about bragging rights, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Robert Lewandowski. Now how can I forget Kylian Mbappe, top players to look out for.
Will the Dietitian be able to make it happen for France this time around? How about Roberto Martinez from Belgium? Not forgetting, from the African continent, a new season from Senegal.
Catch all the analysis
right here on Sport Pizza.
Alright, welcome back. My strike partner, Lakule Philip, joins me at this time. Kule, good to have you on the program today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bronson. It's great to be here to talk sport, and I had a mixed feeling of a weekend because the Nigerian teams hoisting the flag of Nigeria, the country in the continent, didn't live up to expectation, but they gave their all. I feel that, in the course of the program, we're going to talk about it, and I feel so disappointed with some of the officiating, how the officials actually went about in some of those games.
All right, Kule. Now let's talk about the road to the World Cup, which is absolutely buzzing. Right now we are counting down weeks to the big game, biggest football tournament in the world. Of course, the World Cup it saddened us to say that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be participating in this year's World Cup. But of course, the show must go on. Now, in Group B, very exciting teams must be said. Now, last week we looked at the chance of the host nation qualifying, and Kule, in his analysis, didn't give the home team chance of coming out of that group. But, I mean, in football, impossible is nothing. I think the home teams knows that if they crash out of the tournament in the first round, it won't be very good for them. And I'm sure they just might spring up some kind of magic at the World Cup. Now, England is the top team to look out for in Group B. Iran, United States of America, and of course Wales makes up the teams in Group B. Now let's start with England. Now we'll talk about a country that has the best league in the world, the most exciting leagues in the world. But when it comes to the personnel, sometimes we just might want to take some few steps backwards in terms of talent.
Yes, I quite agree with you on that, but in recent time you will agree with me that England has been blessed with some top quality players. Player like Bukayo Saka, who has been very pivotal for the team and he's been doing well. Though I think for the English national team, a player in the mode of Saka hasn't been given the adequate chance to really prove his mettle, but then time will tell whether he will be able to really make things happen with the Three Lions at the World Cup. But then I think that the English national team really has a very good chance of really making things happen. I think it just goes beyond, though it's a step at a time, but if we look at Group B, they are ranked above all the other teams in that group, because when you have teams where you have the countries like England, like United States of America, where you have Iran. Come on, in terms of pedigree and all of that, Wales, they are miles apart. So I don't think that any of the teams can actually stop the Three Lions. So in terms of, and when you look at their achievements of England with the other teams in that group, you want to agree with me that they are the only team who has won the World Cup in that group, talking about the 1996 World Cup, and they've not been able to reenact that particular form. But with the caliber of players they have at their disposal, Grealish is capable of springing, pulling strings anytime he's called to duty. I think that the English national team, apart from qualifying from this group, will go all the way at the World Cup.
And of course, we also have an Harry Kane who is doing so well for his side now. A young lad in the class of Phil Foden, who play for Manchester City. I mean, week in, week out against top opponents with club sides, has proven that he may be a very young guy by age, but at heart is very mature, plays very quality football, very composed. And I mean, you want to have that kind of guy with Bukayo Saka.
I think it's the best time to really hit form, and the young man has really hit form
at the right time
prior to the World Cup. And I think that the English national team is just blessed. What Gareth Southgate needs to do is to play the best players in different positions. Don't play players out of sentiment. Don't play players because probably some players are better. I mean, are veterans, instead of playing players who, according to their form. Because if you look at, when you have some other good defenders and you choose to play Harry Maguire, I'm sorry I'm picking out Harry Maguire because he's a player, he looks like someone who has really lost form. If you are playing that guy, Harry Maguire, in the defense of the Three Lions, then you know you are in for a very long night, because he's a player who can switch off at any particular point in time. So he needs to just understand the fact that he has to play players based on the performance that they have seen so far. The performance they put up in recent time with the Three Lions, and also their performances with their club. And with what we've seen, with the caliber of players the English national team has, I think they have what it takes to go all the way. All
right, now if Harry Maguire must not switch off during the World Cup, they must on generator for him. That's the surest way to get him not to switch off. Now we also have Iran. I mean, one thing about Iran that must be said is the fact that one of their legends was being overtaken by Cristiano Ronaldo in recent times, talking about the most goals scored by international player for national team. And of course, after that record, when it comes to World Cup, you want to say Iran, yeah, well, maybe their pedigree is not very up there. United States of America, if you look at the kind of quality they are turning out, for instance, English clubs are beginning to admire their players. Most of their players play in England. Their league, the MLS, is doing very well right now. And in the friendly games they've played, Kunle, I mean, we've seen some quality football. So apart from the American football, the basketball, Americans are also telling us that, look, when it comes to soccer, we've got our talent, and they're doing it right.
Yeah, they are doing it right. In terms of organization, you agree with me that they are doing it very, very right. And if we consider all the teams in Group B, I think apart from the Three Lions, the United States of American team has the most formidable team above the rest of the teams in that group. And let's remember that the United States team looks like the only team that can actually spring surprises against the Three Lions. And I remember, I think in 1950, according to, I wasn't born then, but from what I heard, they pulled an upset against the United States of America, against the Three Lions. And also, I think in the year 2001 or 2010, they played out a draw with the Three Lions. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I really don't see the United States of America crashing out in the first round. I see them progressing along with the Three Lions. But we will talk about Iran as well. Iran has been, if you look at the manner in which they qualified for the World Cup, in the games they played en route to the World Cup, they did massively well. They won their games convincingly, and they look like a team also that can spring surprises. But then it remains to be seen how they are able to rise to the occasion. So for me, Brownson, it's going to be England qualifying as the #1 team, followed by the United States of America.
Also, Kule, you forgot to mention one big player to look out for in the US team is Christian Pulisic, who plays for Chelsea. Very prolific player, very exciting in that front three. And also, we have a very young guy that, I mean, is a delight to watch. That's talking about Dest, plays for FC Barcelona. These are guys to look out for. Now, in Wales, one would say we still have, what's his name again? Gareth Bale. Even though he's gradually hitting home stretch in his career. But, I mean, in his day, it could be a very big guy to look out for. I mean, time will not allow us to look at Wales. But that's Group B for you. Next week on the program, we'll be looking at Group C and their chances. Kule have said that the English national team and United States are most favourite to qualify from this group. Maybe I'll just lean behind that as far as that is concerned. Now let's take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll give you more stories. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now let's talk about Caf Champions League and of course Caf Confederation Cup. Now when it comes to the African tournament, I think in the maybe late 90s and the early millennium, Nigeria were always dominating, one of the strong forces to reckon with in that competition. But in recent times, I mean, I think since 2010, we haven't gotten to the semi-finals. Kule will correct me if I'm wrong. We've not been to the semi-finals of Caf Champions League, not talk about Caf Confederation Cup. And Kule, it saddens me. I mean, apart from the fact that Plateau United lost, I was sad about the manner of which they lost that game. Now, at home, they give a very good show of themselves, 2-1 victors. Now, away, during the dying minutes, something very controversial happened. The referee awarded the penalty outside the 18-yard box. But then, Kule, because of the pace, we may just want to forgive the referee. If you look at the pace of the game and how the guy dived into the 18-yard box, it would have been very difficult. I don't know, that's why I think it would have been very difficult for the referee to determine where that tackle took place. But replay showed that it was even a little far from the line. But again, if you look at the pace and how the guy fell into the 18-yard box, you may just want to forgive the referee.
No, I'm not forgiving the referee. The referee should not be pardoned. And I think that the NFF, in conjunction with the management of Plateau United, are going to file a suit. They're going to, make a case, their case known to the Confederation of African Football. It's a big disappointment, and the manner in which the officiating went by in that game leaves less to be desired. There are so many questionable calls that were made during the course of that game. Yes, Plateau United went into that game on the back of a 2-1 victory they recorded in Nigeria, and they needed a draw to progress. And they understood the manner in which they're going to play that game. They were defensive. They played the game with about the defense had about 5 players, and the result was still in their favor till in the 10 minutes of the game, where the referee gave that dubious penalty. I don't have any reason to no apologies to the referee. I think that this is because the reason I'm saying this is that the referee is a North African. He's from the North Africa. He's a North African player. I think he's an Egyptian. Now officiating a game of that nature, you understand the fact that a lot of people are going to have a lot of things to say, because the Northerners are very close to themselves. And now you're coming up with this kind of officiating. Come on, Brownson. It wasn't as if the tackle happened outside of the box 18. And the player flew into the box. Come on, it happened outside. The officials, the assistant referees that were there didn't see the particular spot where this incident happened. It's sad. Because this was a game, this was the penalty that knocked Plateau United out of the tournament. It's really a very sad one. We've been saying that kind of officiating. Anytime we are playing against North Africans, they come up with, and when they come back, remember, I was saying it last week that when MFM played against one team, USM Algiers, some years ago, and they won here, I think 2-1 or 3-1. I remember I asked Kamara, who was the coach of MFM then. I asked him, why did you guys lose? Because they lost scandalously by, I think, 4-1 or 6-1 in the reverse fixture. And I asked him, he said, bros, you don't thank God for my life. You don't thank God say we come back alive. It means that they were pressured. There was tension everywhere. And he said the fans were threatening them that if you win this game, if you qualify ahead of us, you will not leave this place alive. Come on, why are they always intimidating our players, intimidating our officials just to get their result? Football should not be played that way. That's why I feel that, because the reason why I'm really sad about this, or I'm really talking in this manner, is because a Tunisian, one of their journalists told me that this same referee has officiated so many games that Experience has played and has always favored them. In the Caf Champions League, mostly in the Caf Champions League, most of the time when you officiate the games, Experience of Tunisia are always winning.
But Kule, now that brings us back to sometimes all our struggle to get into CAF and all of that. Now we have a magic pinnacle, and some guys in CAF. Now it seems to me that we are not playing the politics that these other guys are playing.
Yeah, I think we are not playing the politics, but the political aspect of it is shameful. It is disgraceful, and most of the time it's been the North Africans always winning those major tournaments. And I think one of the greatest undoing of the West, or probably the other regions, is the fact that we're not paying attention to the Continental Championship in Africa. Because I think in the West, most of the players that plays for the national team in Nigeria plays their trade abroad.
In Europe,
same with Ghana, same with Senegal and some other countries. So we are not paying attention to why the North are dominating. They are making it a point of duty. Look at the way they actually, there are some, even anytime we play against any North African club, fine, if they had won us, if they had won Plateau United fair and square, I would have said yes.
Now, there's something we are leaving out of this. Now, all the leagues, no matter how big or small, apart from Europe, are now using VAR. Why haven't CAF, inducted VAR as our, in our style, in our football?
I think they came up with the VAR, the installation of VAR, and the fact that the VAR has to be in some of the centers. Probably when they get into the knockout phase, because this is the game before the teams play, the third round before, the round before they progress into the knockout stage, the group stage. Now, if they are progressed and probably get as far as the semi-final, there will have been VAR to actually check some of these decisions. But I think it's very clear. I don't know why you will actually come up with a decision that was a penalty. It was not.
That's shocking.
It was never a penalty.
Let's see how what Plateau United would do, and what's CAF.
Brownson, there is nothing we can. There's nothing. The referee will be banned, probably suspended, but the result will stand.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's
sad. But also Qualification United also lost. And then they are out. No Nigerian team, of course. But it's something we need to go back to the drawing board and look at what we are getting wrong in African football. We need to start getting it right, and see how we can also make our name count. Now, away from that, Kule, Declan Rice has rejected West Ham new deal. The young man wants to leave West Ham, and don't forget that last transfer window, some clubs came for him, but West Ham were reluctant to sell.
Yeah, they were reluctant to sell because it's a pivotal player to the team, and they feel that it will be instrumental in achieving whatever success they are able to achieve in the Premier League and the other trophies they're gunning for. But the young man understands the fact that if he's still in West Ham, since the big clubs are coming for me, there's need for me to probably get to grab the opportunity, because that is when he can actually win silverwares. So with West Ham United, he might not be able to achieve his dreams of probably winning silver. Every player wants to win silverware in their footballing life, you understand? So I think that I quite agree with him, despite the fact that the deal is worth about £200,000 a week. It's a massive one. I think if they had accepted, probably will be the richest, it will be the most expensive, the highest paid player in West Ham United. But then I think it should go for the bigger clubs. All right,
a bigger club indeed. Now, but it's different from Manchester United Greenwood, who is being charged with attempted rape and assault. And for a player like Greenwood, he shouldn't be caught with things like this. He's barely 21, 22, thereabouts. And for me, I think this is the fastest way to kill his career.
Yeah, fastest way to kill his career. He has a personality, a well-known personality all over the world. All attention is paid to you. The journalists are always watching you. You are not a normal person on the street who can do some certain things and probably get, even if the normal persons on the street who is not a celebrity does things like that, might not be able to get away with it. I'm talk less of, someone who is a footballer known all over the world. So I think if he's found guilty, he should pay heavily for the treatment he meted out to the girlfriend. It's a sad one, I think, and this should act as a deterrent to other players who might want to indulge in that kind of habit.
So Nigerian guys that will feel when a woman says no, she means yes, and all of that, all those things really aren't true. When a woman says no, you should respect the no and leave, whether you are dating her. If she's not in the mood, she's not in the mood. So I think this would be like a deterrent. It reminds me of Adam Johnson of Manchester City, and I think he later moved to Sunderland at some point, who got involved with a 19 or 14-year-old girl that claimed to be 19 at that time. But the courts did not understand that he was being deceived. He served, and that was the end of his career. Even though he's out of prison now, but of course, no brand, no football clubs want to identify themselves with Adam Johnson right now. Greenwood is quite young. We hope that he will be clear of all charges, and the lady will drop the charges, and he'll pick up his career. But men need to understand that a man's no, a woman's no means no. Now, Griezmann scored his 100th Atletico Madrid goal, and that was very instrumental in their away win to Athletic Bilbao last weekend. Now, Griezmann has suffered a lot of criticism in the past. Now, a lot of people say he's a little overrated, he's not as prolific as it seems, and does it really matter? But fantastic indeed, away from home, 1-0, 100 career goal for Atletico Madrid. Good one indeed. Yeah,
it's a milestone achievement for Antoine Griezmann, a very fantastic player. At the point in time, he was ranked at par with some of the players like Robert Lewandowski, but at some point in time, his game dwindled. But he's always there, getting in goals. It's not easy for a player to score 100 career goals. It's a fantastic one for him, and of course, that goal was very important for the team. Like you said, cutting away with the 3 maximum point against Athletic Bilbao. So I think he will continue to score, and of course, we hope. Atletico has not really been doing well this season. They've never been here. They've been here, never been here, not there. They've been struggling to win games, but of course, we hope they bounce back with Antoine Griezmann getting in the goals for them. Now, away from that, let's talk about the El Clasico. Last weekend was on fire in major leagues in England. Now, the Liverpool-Man City game was very exciting, but time will not permit us to do some analysis on that. But let's talk about the El Clasico. Now, every season we've always talked about El Clasico, but this season it looked like it was watered down a little. Now, don't forget, El Clasico became big when Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi was on both sides, and everybody were always talking about. The El Clasico now look more like about the managers, what they are bringing to the table. But in my opinion, I think maybe lived up to the expectations. Maybe the scoreline could have been different. Yeah, it lived up to expectation, and any result that you get at the end of the El Clasico game is what the players had to offer, the teams had to offer. So I think that it has always been a game that has always been massive. One of the most watched derbies in the whole world, and I think I'm not surprised with the result that was achieved here. Madrid winning that game. It was indeed a very good one with Benzema drawing the first blood. And one of the things that made this one very important is the fact that the winner of the game goes top of the table. Yeah. So it becomes the top team, and leads by points, and that's why both teams really had to go all out to win. But Madrid showed that they've been playing better. They've got the right mindset to actually win, and they got the 3 points. That's what it is. Now, away from that, Deontay made a winning return to the ring in a grand style after producing, guys, listen to this one, a first-round knockout to Robert Helenius, who was fantastic. Now, for those that don't understand boxing, one round is just 2 minutes 59 seconds. And for people that are still buying tickets, come on, I think Deontay that wasn't fair if I bought tickets. The bout has ended. I'm still buying tickets, and the bout has finished.
Come on, Deontay. That's unfair, but Kule, that's where I'll let you go on the program. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure to be here, Bouncing.
All right, fantastic fight indeed, but that's where we'll draw the curtain on the show today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, I read some of those emails last week. I want to say thank you to some of those guys that take your time, open your phone, your laptop, your computers, and send us emails. It makes us feel real good. Now, you can also send us your email again. That's it right there. That's the email address right there on your TV screen. So don't forget to email us. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms right now. Now, also, go to our YouTube channel. It's Sport Pizza. And I must thank you for your subscription, but we need more of that if you want to enjoy some exclusive content from Sport Pizza. Now, our Facebook community is absolutely buzzing because there are some things we don't discuss here that we take to Facebook. So go to our Facebook page, like the page, join the conversation, and then you can also tag me and I'll respond to you. My name is Brownson Uwana. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of the day.